right lane there is just getting used to the instant green setup. So normally we'll have the orange lights drop down before the green light comes on, but today we're running an instant green. So Wallace was ready to wait for that. Tana did move around a bit. You can see how it's sort of wandered a little bit over towards the centre line. A little bit of tyre shake from the look of the track down there, but they'll get their heads around that and tune it up. As I said, first qualifier of the day. It's good to see some power rolling down the track here at Sydney Dragway. Big welcome to everyone that is on the live stream. We've got YouTube live stream coming up for you today. We want to get plenty of eyes around this no prep setup, and of course the 2200 DRA guys that are the most dedicated racers out there. Not only do they support drag racing in general, they turn up to the track championships every month here at Sydney Dragway, but they've also got their own club going on. And they come down and set up these 2200 DRA events. They've been so generous to open up entry for the NPRA crew. And here at Sydney Dragway, we couldn't be happier to have this group of racers out here today because they're so dedicated. They love racing. It's a real run what you brung setup. And really happy to have this going on today. And we can't wait to get some more eyes on it and have more of these style of events. Because it just opens up racing for cars that maybe don't quite fit into a traditional bracket category, and I think that means that there's a lot of people with cars maybe in the shed and they don't really know what to do with them. So this style of heads up sort of no prep setup means that we can get them out and get going. Tana down there in the rocket lane at Nitrous block to Rana. It's good to see. In left lane 3883. Haven't got the data here. Let's have a look. Late entry in the aeroflow lane there. I haven't got the data on here, or I can't find the race number. So let's just blame the announcer. It's easier. Okay, as we mentioned, we've got instant green here, so these guys are going to bump into full stage, and we're not going to have any orange lights. It's going to drop straight to the green. So a bit of wheel spin from Spatino in rocket lane, maybe a little bit too much on the hit, but a clean pass in the aeroflow lane. So again, we are talking first round of qualification here. We've got 2 rounds of qualification. Get their heads around this new setup. It's a little bit different for most of the people that are used to running out the track today because there's no glue on the track. Can see we've got quite a few cars out in the lanes there, in the staging lanes. So plenty of interesting action rolling through, and probably quite a few cars that you don't normally see here at Sydney Dragway, which is good to see. A lot of true OG sort of street cars that are out on the track now. It's Really keen to see what everyone can do with power management. Pair of X-Series Falcons. Looks like XD and XF, I'm going to say. I can use some Barra action, and then definitely 8 cylinders in the aeroflow lane. 7089, 7096. Let's have a look who we have here. Nikola Maselkov. In a small tyre setup today. Both cars there. It's going to be an interesting pairing as the day goes on. Really nice clean pass from the aeroflow lane, the XF, and not bad from the rocket lane either. For all the people here at the Dragway today, if you're feeling hungry or you're trying to stay hydrated, it is going to be warm. Make sure you get down and see the Rotary guys. They are here with, they've got the barbecue fired up. They've got the tea and coffee ready to go. So make sure you get down and support those. Great little charity that's come to support us. All right, here's a couple of names that you'll be familiar with. The Grudge King himself, Po Tung, down there in the rocket lane. He's got the Super out. Motorsports Krieger. If you want to see two very different ways of going about things here at No Prep Race, this is exactly the setup to watch. Krieger, big block power, nitrous on board. Then we've got relatively small cubes in the 2J powered Supra, big turbo. We've got a little bit of nitrous there as well, spray just to wake it up. But we've seen plenty of laps out of these guys. They're ready to go in a Grudge style heads up event at the drop of a hat. So let's see them get their head around this track today with the lack of prep. Really good to see Simon and Po supporting this deal. Speed from Krieger skating his way down the track through the 330, but a really clean pass from Po Tung. I'm not really sure how everyone's feeling about showing times. The times are on the board, I believe, so we can probably announce it. But let's just say low 5-second pass from the Supra there. That's going to be one to watch out for. A little bit of hop, a little bit of wheel hop, but yeah, nothing a little bit of tuning won't figure out. Big thanks to sponsors for our races today as well. Speed for Sale has come on board in a big way for 2200 DRA guys and the NPRA guys, throwing money into the pot. Gear exchange services as well. See the big gun down there in the rocket lane, the CV boys. Got John Elfies down there in the VT, twin turbo big block setup. So the CV boys have been in drag racing for a very long time, but brought it out on a small tyre. There's a lot of engine, a lot of power to manage with small tyres out there, but there's a pretty solid brains trust down there. They should be able to get it figured out. And it gets down there really nicely. It's a good first hit. Good first hit for the morning. Again, it's only qualifying. Its first test hits for the day, but Elfies goes into the second. As far as ET is concerned, with Po Tung drawing the early blood, sitting at number 1 in qualifying time so far. Looks like Danko Kanasevic down there. That's made his way up from Victoria. Addicted Performance. Zach, who's racing a big tyre as well. So Dunko down there in small tyre. Mark Daskalakis down there in the Aeroflow lane in the Tirana. A couple of stout burnouts from both cars. It's going to be interesting to see Mark's setup today. He's left the car on a radial, which is really good for the back half, but it means that power management is key for the launch in this no prep setup. So this will be a big, there'll be a big question mark just before he lets go of the button on the line here, but lots of answers to be had in the 60 feet following. So again, we've got a very different way of going about things on these two cars. We've got Turbo LS in the green Tirana in the Aeroflow lane. And then, if memory serves, Nitrous, big block at least, in the Turbo. Yep. Turbo action there, bit of wheel hop. Clean launch from Daskalakis in the Aeroflow lane. I'm pretty sure we'd be fairly happy with that pass for the first hit out on radials. So good power management. That's what it's all going to be about today. It's managing power. Anyone can make 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 horsepower. And there's some cars here that are well capable of that and more. But actually being able to use it in just the short track, that's going to be the trick. And that's why it's so interesting to see this setup out here today. So really, really keen to see what everyone does. Right, next pairing up, I think I can see, is that Daniel Saliba down there in the Rotten Olive, 1600, Barra power. Mean pro stock style Tirana down there in the Rocket Lane. Yeah, that is Lippy Downer. In the small tyre category for today, so he's going to give it a run. Saliba's a really interesting car. It's a beautifully presented car. Awesome colour, known as the Rotten Olive. Put together by Precision Racing, I believe. Barra power on board, big turbo. Bit of a mishap with the bump there, maybe a little bit aggressive, just came off the trans brake at the same time. Very casual pass from Downer in the rocket lane. Again, just qualifying, so we're all figuring everything out. Okay, Martin Stevenson here in the drag van. Show a lot of appreciation for that gentleman. He's the one behind the 2200 DRA, excuse me. He's getting a lot of things happening out here at the drag strip. Very dedicated racer. He's behind Power Plus Fuels, New South Wales, supporting racers with the products that they need to get their fill. Pick up there off the line. Big jump towards the centre line for the Tana in the aeroflow lane. Gathered up quickly and put some pace on out the back end. So really interesting pass. That was Shane Gillen Christie. He's going to be running the 6.0 index. He's not too far off it for first hit, considering it took the long way around in the short track. Should be right there. All right, that looks like one of the better bar boys down there. Burnout for the Camaro in the aeroflow lane. Big shout out to the Better Bar crew that made it on the way down from Tamworth. So big commitment. They were out with a lot of success at off-street racing over the road with Power Crews last night. They took home some silverware, which is good to see. They're getting their heads right around this no prep action. So we've got Caleb in the aeroflow lane, 400 cube big block Chevy, the 68 Camaro, and they've got Robert Gallotta in the Capri. Nitrous looks like it might have a bit of a drama there. Right, so Thomas will be on a single pass. Up for Gallotta in the Capri. Geez, I'll tell you what, that Camaro, Caleb Thomas, that is straight as an arrow. They looked like they had a little bit of timing delay off the launch there, just to get a bit of wheel speed happening before laying into it, but yeah, it was straight down the track. On the next one, puts him into the second spot in qualification so far. I think his dad, Brian Thomas, will be in the purple Camaro, maybe just below. Yeah, he's just come through the tunnel down there. So he took home silverware last night, but unfortunately we've just had a little bit of a spill at the line in the rocket lane. So we'll give the crew a couple of minutes just to clean that up. Luckily enough, we don't have any prep on the track to ruin, so that will just be par for the course today. Good to see plenty of guys jumping on board the YouTube stream. I believe we're on Facebook Live as well. Want to get a bit of this action out to all of the big fans and followers. Give some support to 2200 DRA and MPRA guys down here. There's a few guys testing today. There will be competition rounds this afternoon. It's between 1 and 7 p.m. But for now, we are back into qualifying. I believe that is the sound of Brian Thomas making his way to the burnout box. Better Bar Racing out of Tamworth. Tough big tyre action there for Thomas. He took home the chockies last night, the off-street racing over the road at Power Cruise. So he's got the eye dialed in. Really neatly turned out Mustang of Adrian Morton in the small tyre class in the aeroflow lane. Down there as well. 5-1, I believe that is. Yes, Adrian Ward. So again, instant green here on the tree. We'll get both cars into stage. It'll drop straight to green rather than the orange. Nitrous purge from Morton in the aeroflow lane. Thomas is set. Big hit from Thomas, lifts the tyres. Not bad, looks like that'll put him into the second with qualification, I believe. Relatively clean run for Morton in the aeroflow lane as well. Different classes racing there. Is that Albie Davidson down there on the line? I think it is. Fellow behind Digger Motorsport. Great group of racers, bike racers down there. You can see Albie's decided to sort of take a bit of time out of the track championships this year, but he's getting behind all the other racers. But I can see he's got some leathers on, so he's going to throw a leg over today. See Andrew Heinrich in the rocket lane. He's in there by a trans brake. Today, 7562 at Tana. I've got data on the Ute in the aeroflow lane. Return of the tyres. Wiggle. LS1 hanging out the front of it. That was an awesome bit of kit that I have not seen in recent times. Great to see it out here for this event. And then Alan Ostie, of course, in the 78 Tirana, both LS-powered cars. See that Tirana has more laps than I've had hot dinners on it. say if they are running up against each other there. In the Falcon in the aeroflow lane, the wrecker, with a whole heap of tyre that is outside the car, but it looks like it's got something else outside the car, unfortunately. So give him the cut signal, and then we've got Peter Brown in big block Chevy Dragster in the rocket lane. He's going to make a single pass. Get Sam Campbell back out of the way there. Yeah, what a shame. Sometimes these little spills can be something as simple as a catch can that's full. There in the Dragster. Really clean run actually. We've seen in the 8th today. Yeah, something as simple as making sure that your catch can is empty. I tend to harp on about this a little bit when we're doing track championships and other events, you know, Sunday street meets and whatnot. We always recommend people, you know, I know you've got a lot of things to do, you've got a bit of a checklist when you get your car ready, but something that can be forgotten is just making sure that the catch can's empty, because if your engine's breathing, heavy and it's going into the catch can, it's yeah, it's going to get full, so you want to empty it out. Otherwise you end up with a little issue like that. Might just have a bit of a puke and ruins everyone's day. Alright, CJ Davies out here in small block Chevy front engine Dragster. Everyone will be familiar with CJ from track championships and other national events. Always a fierce competitor out here. Maybe doing some testing, or could be running with, yeah, he's in Chicago shootout in the Transbrake class. So another little challenge for these guys are seasoned racers, but very rarely do they run a instant green tree. Pretty clean, bit of a wiggle from the Dragster as it gets out through the 60 foot, but nice clean run from there. Great thing about this 8th mile running for a lot of the competitors is it's a lot easier on the cars. You know, you've got less run time, so you're not going to run it out the back door across a full quarter. It's quicker to cool them down, get them turned around. So yeah, really good way to get more laps for less dollars, I guess you would say. All right, we're going to have some two-wheel action for now. Could be Ron Adams down there. I can't see his number. He's got a destroyer. Yeah, that is him. What a guess, who would have thunk it? So Ron's head up from Barella, not too far from here. On that 1300cc Harley Destroyer. Basically factory drag bike. So really good initiative that Harley have. You can just say, I'll have one of those race bikes, please. And you take it out of the box and you bring it to the track. Up. Bet of our guys are rolling in style. Look at that brand new F-Series down there as the tow car. I'm very jealous. Very jealous. I drove a Toyota Tundra recently, a new one. Talk about king of the road in those full-size dual cab pickup trucks. As I guess you would say, Silverado, Ram, F-250. Goes Albie Davidson, back out again, Suzuki. S1000, V1000. Yeah, 1000cc V-twin for Albie Davidson. Down there with Team Digger Motorsport. Cheryl Beddoes, excuse me, Cheryl Hallard in the Rocket Lane. Down there on the V-Rod. I think that's Gareth in 764. Yeah, Gareth Wilcox, a member of Digger Motorsport. This guy's getting some testing here, getting used to the surface. Both looking red lights down there, but otherwise pretty straight classes. 996, 116 to 986, 139. Got Adrian Watson in the airflow lane at Yamaha R6. That will be Lucas Nego in the rocket lane. In the aeroflow lane. Certainly not on a 51 Vincent repeat. Down there, we've got some different data. He's on the Hayabusa, of course, in the aeroflow lane, and then we've got Travis McCleverty on the GSXR 750 in the rocket lane. Today, no prep whatsoever. Not a lot of tyre on the track. So yet again, really testing races and their setup and tune-ups. Mark Ackers in the aeroflow lane, Kawasaki GPZ 1100, classic Kawasaki there, and Sean Close down from Muswellbrook. He's on the 750cc Suzuki. More of a street bike set. Bit of a bog for both races, but trying to guess those conditions. Close is going to get to the strike first. Goes through at 11.57 with a 9 at 123 mile per hour. Ackers cruises through at 14, 583 at 73. I can see on the YouTube stream, Tone G's saying I'm going to go out on a limb and say Brian for the win in big tyre and Poe in smalls. I'll tell you what, Tone, you wouldn't be too far wrong with those guesses. Not sure if that's a real thin limb that you're standing on there, mate. But anything can happen with a no prep setup. As Joe Curry gets down there with a pass on the Harley. No issues with traction, but a bit of a misshift later down the track. Looks like we will get back into the four-wheeled action down here. Some more testing for our races. We've got a couple of foot brake elements there. I believe that is Jake Muller in the Aeroflow lane and Joe Box, possibly. No, I've got Steve Davies on the screen here in the HJ in the Rocket lane. Never late in the 308 for Steve Davies there. Jake Muller's got the LS power with, I think I can see a nitrous sticker on the back there, but it might be something different from one of his supporters. There's the green wheel speed for Muller there in the Aeroflow lane. He's got it working. Certainly one of the wildest Porsche 928s you'll see out there. Like Paul Galea in the Aeroflow lane. Got that those injection stacks almost as high as the roof line. Ready for a big hit. And we've got Cooper Bennett in the VS Ute in the Rocket lane. Plenty of competitors in the dial your own foot brake category here today with 2200 DRA. Thanks to Power Plus for New South Wales. Speed for Sale, Gear Exchange Services, all coming on board, making this event happen for the races. If you are looking for some sort of motorsport fuel, make sure you get in touch with the guys at Power Plus, New South Wales. If you need a diff build, get hold of Jason at Gear Exchange Services in Smithfield, everything from mile to mile. And then if you're after a little extra speed, Big Nathan have got it for sale. Speed for Sale, nitrous refills, complete system setups. They can sort you out. We've got Andy Box in the HQ Ute in the Aeroflow lane. Joe Campagna, the Vauxhall Viva. When was the last time you saw a Vauxhall Viva powered by a Holden 192 engine? It's an interesting combination, but we welcome him with open arms because he is a drag racer. Box is going to get to the stripe first with 790 and a 1008 for Campagna in the Viva. Howes brought the regular race car out today. He's left the yellow HQ Ute at home. He's bought the street car, family bus territory, because why not? It's a foot brake event. You're going to dial your own, so get out, have some fun, run what you brung. We got Liz Close in the Falcon Ute in the Aeroflow lane. Pretty wild purple paint job going on there. Going to get there first. That does. Plenty of RPM on board there in the Aeroflow lane, thanks to Brett Niff. St Mary's engines, of course, in the 67 Valiant. And then Ian Austin in the LJ Tirana. Big lift to the front tyres for McNiff. He's made a very clean pass. Very nice on no prep surface. Not bad for Austin in the rocket lane either. Ted Bullpit here in the Kingswood wagon, the HX wagon. I should say it's Kevin Price. He's come on down from Seaham in New South Wales. We've got Dale Ludlow in the Holden Tana. I was thinking about the word Tirana and how you would explain that to an American. It's not Trana, and then how it's actually spelled. But Dale's actually got it spelled on his number plate the way that we say it. Miss the O, just go straight to Trana. Right, Melanie Lucas in a beautiful 69 Ford Fairlane. It's got 427 small block in it. The ZB is no small car. And then we've got Alan Stevenson. He's running HB Tirana today. Power Plus Fuels, of course. A lot of smoke coming out of the Fairlane on that pass there. Looked fairly black though, so it could just be very rich tune-up. Hopefully, we'll just double check the track after that pass. I think Stevenson left very early. So we've got no time for either. I had a little bit of a wander over to the wall side in the rocket lane as well. And Tirana there, so it's something else to note down and go back after this round of qualifying and then come back and tune it up. Next pairing, we've got Daniel Taylor from Gateshead, New South Wales. He's got the HJ GTS 512 cubic inch big block down there. Plenty of Chevy goodness. And then Warwick Goo in the Trackhawk. Absolute animal, if I'm not mistaken. Supercharged Hemi, 6.2 litre. It's got the Hemi, brother. Bit of Mopar action. Yep, spot on Woodsy on the stream there. 124 people watching, only 20 likes. Give us a thumbs up. We're giving you a free stream. Come on now. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all those things that you're supposed to do on YouTube. Dab it up. Let's go. Let's get more people out there. We want more people on these streams. Right. Plenty of guys getting on board. Really appreciate it. Make sure if you are watching one of the streams that's live out there at the moment, we're on Facebook or on YouTube. We've got the NPRA, NPRA Australia live stream, 2200 DRA, oh sorry, Power Plus Fuels New South Wales live stream happening. So it's a stream fest out here at Sydney Dragway today. And we're really happy to be able to put that stream on because this is a private, technically it's a private event. It's not open to public spectators. But that means you get to enjoy all of the racing action from the comfort of your home or your lounge or wherever it is that you're watching on your device. Thank you very much. Okay, Sam Fullerton down here in the Holden Commodore. You can see in the aeroflow lane, huge reverse cowl bonnet on it. I think it's a supercharged combination. And then Joseph Freer with the Cressida 2J power in the Bowls Club special from 1985. I'm a big fan. Clean watch. 2.4 and 60 from Freer. That's going to be interesting later on today. Excuse me, from Freer. I haven't pronounced Joseph's surname before. I'm not sure if you can tell. All right, Mark Elborn down there in the HQ Ute. Power Plus Fuels. Got Holden 253 on board. Fierce competitor on a regular basis here at the Track Championships. We've got Cheryl Ogden in the Aeroflow lane. So LS-powered VE Commodore down there. Foot brake category for both of these races. A little bit of a wiggle from the VE towards the centre line down there, but gathered up neatly. So those people that often watch the action here at Sydney Dragway, you'll probably notice that everyone's backing out of it a bit early today. We are running to the 8th, so that's a bit of a difference to a lot of the events that you'll see here at Sydney Dragway. And you'll also notice those, if you can see down the strip, which I'm sure you can on the live stream, those big dark patches. It's where we've actually scrubbed the track for this no prep style of racing today. So we haven't sprayed the glue. It's not sticky down there. You're not going to lose a shoe today, which I'm sure the crew members might appreciate. But it's just throwing a bit of a spanner in the works for competitors that are normally out here on a nicely prepped surface. As we know, Sydney Dragway, one of the best prep crews around. Craig Warren, Ashley Vincent, going heads up down there. Craig Warren's jumped out of his 400 cube LJ and jumped into the BN Commodore. Just for something different today. Joel Lucas, the XF Ute, the Barra power under the hood. So the twin cam 4-litre Ford engine, turbo combination. Then we've got Joe Selby from Wood Rising in New South Wales with that really clean XY Falcon. It's got 393 cubic inches of winds of goodness. Shaking away down there. Just a little bit of wheel spin. Just gives it the loud pedal. Joel Lucas is out of there. Late model Barra power showing the early girl the way early on today. Nice burnout from Troy Rolls down there in the 32 coupe. Super cool car. When you think hot rod, that's exactly what you imagine in your head. Stephen Bryce there in XB Falcon. Big 4-door. It's got 408 cubes of winds of goodness. Big stroke. It rolls away cleanly. Rich looks like with that bit of black smoke coming out down the way, but nothing to worry about. Stephen Bryce nice clean past. Looks like Eden Abella in the Aeroflow lane with that Turbo LS VY Commodore Ute. Now, I haven't got, we've got Tana 3946. Down there in the Rocket Lane in the Holden, regular competitor here at the Track Champs, just taking home some silverware on a regular basis. Running in Super Street category. impressive bump in from the angle. Close pass though. Looks like the angle's going to have a mile per hour at the big end, but Bowers gets there first. Green Machines down there. Debbie Robb, good to see her back down here at Sydney Dragway. Guys have made the trip down from Tamworth. They could have done a road trip with the Better Bar guys. 532 cubic inches of Ford Big Block in the XB Coupe there, and then we got Wayne Burke in 408 Windsor powered Cortina. Classic drag racing combination down there. There, pretty straightforward pass for Burke in Rocket Lane in the Cortina. Sean McPherson back around for another test hit in that little Ford Prefect. It's got to say, it'd have to be my favourite car that I've seen out here, just based off looks. Super cool, super different. It's got that gangster lean over to the right side. Jim Bruce in that HQ Utes, pretty cool combination as well. Turbo LS action. Out there on the stream as well. Thanks a lot. Exactly right, Brad H. Remember to hit that like and share button. Subscribe. Hit a dab. Whatever else it is that you're supposed to do that the kids are talking about on the YouTubes. Let's get all into it. We're here for it, guys. We really want to grow this. We want to make sure that these races get plenty of exposure. We want more people, potential sponsors even, or just potential racers. You know, if you're watching on a stream, if you're sitting at home and you've got a car, or you've always thought about it, you can see, I reckon I can do that. Well, you can. That's a really good thing about drag racing. Entry to drag racing is actually, it's really achievable. You can start off with something that is basically just a complete street car. You could drive it here from home, you could drive it to work every day, and then just turn left and right into Sydney Dragway, pull up to the line, and you can race. There's a category for you. So more people we can get out here, the better. Andrew Heinrich and David Hutchin just made a couple more clean passes there. Jeff Alston in that wild-looking 70 Chevy Camaro. Killer sort of, I'm going to get the colours wrong, it's purple to kind of fuchsia going on the front there. Nice blend. Very trendy, I like it. 642 tubes, big goodness. Big shuffle out of the hole, but big straight pass. Really nice pass from Jeff there. Right up there in the big tyre class, I think, with that pass. We'll take a quick break for some ads just in between getting the next lot of cars through, and we'll be back here at Sydney Dragway for 2200 DRA and NPRA event here at Sydney Dragway.
Bikereview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. bikereview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. bikereview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw car driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuels since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's all... This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing sling. To measure the track's...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sydney Dragway. Very special live stream today. Normally, we don't stream this 2200 DRA event, but the guys have graciously allowed us to stream it for them, get some eyes on while we're here, and give me some more people to talk to, because I was feeling a little lonely. You know, Adam's up here helping me out, but he's always turned around. He's always looking at these screens, pressing these buttons over here. I don't know what he's doing. NPRA is involved today as well, and that's another reason why we wanted to get the stream up and happening. A lot of cars that you don't normally see here at Sydney Dragway. They're running, you know, the no prep event, 2200 DRA, have graciously allowed us to be able to not prep the track today. So as you can see, there are some big black strips down the center of the track where we are not spraying any sort of traction compound. It's a different setup that a lot of the races are used to down here. You also see that instant green that just drops on the tree. And we're backing out at the 8th. So that was really clean pass. Pete Brown is dialed in already. It's two passes, almost identical. Really, really nice. So NPRA, what's NPRA all about? Let's talk about that. No Prep Races Australia. So basically, these guys are all about OG street racing, kind of in inverted brackets, style cars. So steel cars. You can basically run what you brung. It's heads up. That was a lot of wheel spin from me and Austin down there in the Tana. You got after it on that one. So you can run in a big tyre category or a small tyre category with no prep. So that's obviously the limiting factor is your tyre. You can run any style of engine combination. You can run really any style of car, but they have to be steel bodied. So real street car style setup. Heads up, Pro Tree, or instant green I should say, not Pro Tree, so we haven't got an orange. You'll see as these two cars come into stage, we'll get the full stage beams on, and then bam, straight to green. So no typical countdown, which means you've got to be ready to rock and roll. And the great thing is NPRA have got some really cool sponsors on board, and they've been able to get some pretty decent pots. Obviously, races pay their entry, and then we've got some sponsors that have come along and topped up the pot. So it's pretty exciting racing. It's there's a bit of excitement because there's a bit of cash on it, on the line. So we can go back through here, and there's some great prize money involved. So Big Tyre is now $3,000 with 10 cars. Big thank you from Jason from Gear Exchange and the boys at Speed for Sale Nitrous Refills. They're topping up the pot. Of course, it might vary on the day depending on how many cars, you know, whatnot. Small tyre is $6,500, $6,500 with 18 cars involved. So big thank you to HVHM, Hunter Valley Heavy Machinery, Heavy Maintenance, I should say. Will Wallace from HVHM. Nominated to top up the small tyre pot, even though he's racing in big tyre. So big shout out to Will Wallace there. He's right behind this NPRA style event. Big thanks from, once again, Jason from Gear Exchange. He split his contribution between both classes. And Speed for Sale did the same thing. Pat DiFrancesco from Fruit World out of Penrith. Big shout out. He contributed to the small tyre pot. Again, he's racing in big tyre as well. And then both of those guys, Jason, Gear Exchange, and Pat DiFrancesco from Fruit World, have sponsored War in the Sticks, which is going to be the next event for NPRA. It's going to be run out at Wilby, I believe. Wilby Dragway. So big shout out to those guys putting on some more events. Big shout out to all the people contributing and sponsoring. And another big shout out to all those of you watching on the stream at home, both here in Australia and internationally as well. Give us a shout out where you're watching from. Real big fan. I can see that we're getting a lot of good feedback from the YouTube live stream. People really loving this heads up, no prep, and instant green setup. So yeah, we're all for it. We're trying to get behind it. We want you to get behind it as well. Get more of these events happening out here. So give us some feedback. If you want more of this style event, let us know. Let the organisers know. Let the promoters know, and we'll be happy to have them out here at Sydney Dragway. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is a Vauxhall Viva down there in the aeroflow lane. Joe Campagna has it down here with a Holden, I believe it's a Holden grey motor on board. And we've got Joseph Freer in the 85 Toyota Cressida. It's got the 2J under the hood. Comes out of the Holden. That's going to be an interesting car to watch during the full break category today. Here at 2200 DRA. All right, Dale Ludlow down there in the Tana. 434 cubes, small block under the hood. And then Ethan Hurst in LS2 powered Commodore. I believe that's a VL from what I can see from here. So as I was mentioning earlier, we are on a no prep surface today. So of course there's a lot of rubber on the track compared to say your average street and whatnot. You know, we are a professional dragway here, so there's lots of rubber's been laid down. But normally where we'd spray the traction compound down on top of that rubber to give it some extra bite, that's not being done today. And the reason for that is because it puts another interesting factor on how it is that you get down the track. So, like I've said before, anyone can make a lot of power. It's pretty easy. You can strap a couple of big turbos on or have more cubes or feed it with nitrous and you can make a lot of power. But if you can't use it and all you're doing is spinning the tyres, it's not going to work. So that's always a bit of a battle when you've got a lot of power on a reasonably prepped surface. But then when it comes to no prep, it all comes back to how do you manage the power? How do you lay it in? Do you use ignition timing? Do you use boost control? What is it that you're managing to get the car down the track? So, and that's a fine line between how much do you throw at it to get wheel speed and get the car moving, and how much do you take out of it so that it actually has some sort of traction. So, very, very interesting. People, Mike Sampson, shout out in Knoxville, Tennessee, Daniel Wilson, Atlanta, we've got Woodsy up in Newcastle, we've got Cliffs in his shed, sitting beside a Harley, great deal. DJ Prowse is in the house. All right, Brett McNiff bat out here in the 67 Valiant hardtop. Really well presented car. It's got angry Chrysler motor under the bonnet. Want to lift the wheels, last pass. Let's see what he's got for us this time around. Show you the sort of gearing and I'm assuming compression that Brett's got in that Valiant, because he's in a foot brake class, so he's not sitting there on a trans brake at 4,500 RPM. You know, he's just basically stopping on the thing and it wants to lift those wheels. Really exciting car. Alan Stevenson back out again in the Tirana, the aeroplane lane, and Troy Rolls, referred to Coupe. And just a reminder, we are in qualifying at the moment, guys. So qualifying, testing, look at it. These aren't competition rounds, so everyone's just getting their head around this no prep setup and the instant green. So we'll give everyone a few passes to do that. We'll have qualifying up until about 12:30 local time today. We'll stop for lunch break for half an hour, and then from 1 until 7 we have it scheduled. We'll have competition rounds. The guys from NPRA, No Prep Australia, will be doing a chip draw for each round. So again, run what you brung, hope you brung enough. Make sure you stay tuned in for that action a bit later on today here at Sydney Dragway. If you're watching us on YouTube live stream, Facebook, Sydney Dragway, NPR, No Prep Races Australia, and Power Plus Fuels New South Wales. We've got the stream happening on all of them. Okay, we're going to wait for the next lot of crew to roll through. We'll run a couple of ads and we'll be right back here at Sydney Dragway. Okay, we can see the guys from HVHM, Hunter Valley Heavy Maintenance, down there for all your heavy plant machinery maintenance and even performance work. If you're up in that Hunter Valley region, make sure you give them a shout. They've been quite generous to contribute to the event today. We've got Will Wallace down there from HVHM in the aeroplane lane in that wild looking Tirana. And then Steve McAuliffe, shift right transmissions. This is business in that beautiful little Holden Capri. Love the colour combination is too. Some serious heavy artillery underneath, well, not really underneath the hood of that Tirana. It's all out for everyone to see. The huge hat up around the roof line. Absolutely phenomenal. Will Wallace had a little bit of a hop, skip, and a jump on their first pass earlier today, first test pass. So let's see if the crew's got a few things figured out on that one. Steve left early on his first pass as well, so just figuring that out. He's come out of a turbo LS ute. Let him know what he runs. That's through a nice clean pass there, Will. So a bit of a hiccup, I think, off the hit. So they might have a bit of a ignition curve set into that to try and get it away. But yeah, they'll get around it, and there's a lot of potential in that Tirana down there. And again, big thanks to Will for throwing money in the pot for the small tyre class, even though he's running the big tyre class. Down here, we've got Caleb Thomas, Better Bar Racing, made their way down from Tamworth. A pair of Camaros, and his dad Brian, you can see him walking down there, giving him a bit of a guide. And then we've got Nelson Granger, Lookout, HJU, I think it is, HZU. It's got the big carbon blower hat on top of it. Awesome looking car. You might also be familiar with his other cars. He's got McFry, the sedan, which was over the road. Again in racing, he had a couple of passes, but unfortunately a pump issue, I think. But this ute, known as Lookout, it's got all of the power on board. Let's see if Nelson can manage it. Supercharger screaming on the track mic from the ute. Pretty keen hit, really nice 60-foot time from Caleb in the aeroflow lane there, so it's going to be one to watch. Judging by that pass, he's going to keep his old man pretty honest today, so good family rivalry from the Better Bar Racing guys. All right, And that's Daniel Saliba down there in the Rotten Olive. Barrow-powered Datsun. Precision Racing on board with that combination. Also happen to be naming rights sponsor for Euro Motorfest that's coming up on 29th of March. It's going to be a great event out here. Again, something different, just diversifying the action out here at Sydney Dragway. You know, I mean, everyone loves traditional, you know, V8 drag racing, but it's hard to deny the influence of European motorsport that we've got, you know, in street cars and just in general now. You know, big popularity with GT3 racing and whatnot. So, and you know, you can't buy an Aussie-built car anymore. So, what's your option? You know, a lot of people are jumping into Euros. Still a bit of a staging issue for Daniel down there in the Rotten Olive. Yes, that is the car's name, by the way, the Rotten Olive. It's a great setup. Really cool car, but yeah, it had a similar issue trying to bump in on boost in that first pass. So I'm sure the guys will get down and figure it out, have a bit of a look, hit some page ups or page downs, and get it all working properly. I know with the bump setup, you have to dial in the frequency of how much you want to activate that little solenoid when you're working on it. But I can say a bit of a track walker out there, so we might just, while that's happening, check it out. Looks like a quick adjustment to some of the time blocks down track. So just pausing, if you're wondering why the red lights are flashing on the tree. I'm just going to pause for a second while we get that timing equipment adjusted up. The interesting thing about the racing today is that it's a lot of heads up. It doesn't really matter about the times for a lot of this racing today. There are, of course, the DYO brackets, trans brake and foot brake, involved with the 2200 DRA guys. But for the MPRA, for example, it's basically just who gets there first. So run what you brung, steal cars, first car to the stripe wins. It's sort of old school drag racing, you know? Not too complicated. Just a good deal all around. Alright, looks like Paul Spatino down there in the aeroflow lane. Similarly, Tana. Nitrous on board. I know Paul had this in the build for quite a while. Cars are actually really closely matched, so that'll be interesting to see them come up in heads-up racing later today. So a couple more actually. A lot of movement from Nikolai Masakov in the aeroflow lane, but gathered it up nicely. Just wanted to have a little bit of a look at the even less prepped section in the middle of the track. So why not? Some people like doing things the hard way. Okay, Danko Kinasevic back again in the Capri. And I certainly misspoke earlier on. I said that this is a big block car. It's not. It's a small block Ford turbo combination. Danko's business, Addicted Performance, down in Victoria, Hallam. Great little shop down there. This Capri has certainly been punching out the numbers over the years with some small revisions. And then of course we've got Kev, the big gun, John Elfies, down there in the Rocket Lane. The big block powered twin turbo VT Commodore. John's actually had this car for a really long time. It started as basically just a regular old street car, stock LS, and they started spraying it with nitrous on board and different engine revisions over the years. I think it might have had a supercharger at one point, and now the final boss of combinations. Last time I knew it was a big block twin turbo, unless this has changed again. The screen saying LS turbo, but I'm not sure. Civic in the Capri. That's very nice, very straight, well sorted chassis there. Shout out Michael Richards on the live stream. Yes, we are working on the green bulbs for the rest of the timing boards, mate. That is a thing that is coming. Civic bumps in, he's got that green light. Man, there was some power ups for 60 foot. I can't wait to see this thing on kill later on today. So a little bit of a setup. This next pair go down, we're just going to restart the timing computer. It's had a little bit of too much power from that small block Ford turbo combination. Clearly Addicted Performance down there, or maybe it was getting nervous for the two heavy hitters that are about to come through here. We got Potang down there, Mr. Grudge Kings. Got that 2J powered Supra, came out and fought against the Street Outlaws with that car. Certainly punched well above its weight. All right, while we're waiting for a setup, we're just going to throw off to a couple of ads and we'll be right back here for 2200 DRA and NPRA event here at Sydney Dragway.
To a race car, be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of Bang shift spares are available for each shifter that include shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw kart driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's all... This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface. Turning the torque arm on the top of the device will rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
A street car through to a race car, be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw kart driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface.
All right, thanks for your patience, everyone watching at home on the live streams. We are back here at Sydney Dragway, 2200 DRA and NPRA, No Prep Racing Australia. So just had to do a little bit of a hard reset on the timing system there. I think the gremlins were a little bit shaken up by the instant green. So weren't sure what's happening down there. But we got Po Tung down here in the 2J. And we got John Elfies in the Commodore. Solid burnout from both cars. Po Tung getting some RPM on board with that 2J. Very nice to see. Right, so these guys are effectively qualifying / testing for no prep class, both on small tyres, I believe. Pose on big tyre, sorry. So we've got Photon coming up to pre-stage. Ready, go. Both up on the chip, get the bump in. Deep stage for the Tana. Nice pass for both cars. Very clean. Poe with a bit of a steer job down there. Very nicely. All right, Adrian Morton back out his very tidy Mustang. And Licky Downer in the LJ Tana. Stage. Just waiting on down and bump in there. Nitrous purge. Downer in the aeroflow lane, skating the whole way down. Really trying to get after it there, but crews have got their hands full today just figuring out with this no prep surface, and it is warm here at Sydney Dragster. Currently we're probably about 27 degrees centigrade. Guys out there, Mark Daskalakis in the rocket main with a big old burnout. He's got that LS Turbo powered Tana sitting on Radials 275 Pros, I believe, on Mark's car. So they had a pass earlier that was really clean actually, considering he's on Radial with no prep. So got a Haltech ECU on board with that combination, allowing for some pretty fine power management. Power in, yeah, not bad at all. Next we'll have a single pass down here with another Capri. Pairing ready to go. Eden Abella in LS Turbo Ute in the aeroflow lane. Debacle Racing. The LJ Tana. Plenty of support with that program down there. St Mary's engines, Power Plus fuels, etc. a lot of these competitors are used to a sportsman tree or even a pro tree, where you get the orange lights flash before the green. So yeah, just something a little bit different. That's a cool Mark 1 Escort. Everyone's coming back on the return road there. Okay, we've got Shane, Gillen Christie in the LJ, in the Aeroflow lane, Martin Stevenson. Power Plus Fuels New South Wales in the drag man. Oh, big turn towards the centre line. Yeah, it's Tana. And some traction issues, I do say, for Stevenson in the drag man. That looks like it had a little bit of something down there, but doesn't look like too concerned about it. Much of that Power Plus Fuels New South Wales fuel came out of the drag van. Might have just been a little bit of an overflow or a breather issue or something like that. But luckily enough, fuel vaporizes really quick, and again, the benefit of a no prep situation is we don't have to worry about it eating away at the glue. So we can get our next bearing straight up. Safety personnel are involved, and I think that's one of the great things about having this no prep event here at Sydney Dragway. Yes, there's no prep on the track, which makes it a little bit higher risk, but all of the safety teams and crews are involved. Great work, a nice hit flying up there in the Cortina. I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen a Cortina like that in drag trim with that style of cage and those wheelie bars and that sort of stance on it, you haven't been watching drag racing in Australia. Because I couldn't count how many Cortinas I've seen that look similar to that over the years. It wouldn't be a drag race in Australia without a Cortina. Some more people joining in on the YouTube live stream, so big thanks. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, hit the bell, get all the notifications so that you know the next time we're out on the stream, up on the YouTube, to bring you all the action from Sydney Dragway, Eastern Creek, New South Wales, Sydney, Australia. Then Rob and the Aeroflow lane, the XB Coupe, Dave Hutchin, and then Rocket. Really close race actually between those two cars. Shame they're in different categories for racing later on. Jeff Alston back out in that wild 70 Chevy Camaro with a 632 cubic inch big block there. And the wrecker's back. There's so much tyre hanging out the cards. That XD Falcon, I love it. Yeah, not a bad pass from Alston there in the Aeroflow lane. A lot of these races are starting to get dialed in on this no prep surface and this instant green tree. CJ Davies back out in the fed up Dragster, marking in the Ford Anglia. There's a wild car. It's about as big as my shoe. Tiny little thing. Double check that the previous car down the rocket lane hasn't left anything too serious. Good to go down there. We'll get this next pairing straight up into the staging beams. So you got Mark in, he's in the little Ford Anglia in the Aeroflow lane. He's competing in the foot brake class today, and CJ Davies in front engine Dragster in the transport class. So we are in qualifying at the moment. So everyone just making passes to get their head around this format today. Brought to you by 2200 Drag Racing Association, 2200 DRA guys down here, headed up by Martin Stevenson from Power Plus Fuels, New South Wales. Also got support from Jason at Gear Exchange Services and the boys at Speed for Sale, nitrous refills, making this happen today. And they've graciously allowed the No Prep Races Australia to jump on board with this event. Sean McPherson has a big look at the 60-foot marker as it comes away in that Ford Prefect. Yeah, the 2200 DRA guys have graciously allowed the NPRA group to come in and jump on board with their event today here at Sydney Dragway, and they've allowed everyone to be running with the same rules. So no prep on the track, no traction compound being sprayed. Just drug the track earlier today. Then we've also got instant green. So as you see, Paul Galea in that wild 98 Porsche jump in. There's no orange lights on the tree. Straight to green after those cars from the stage. So wild injected Chev in that 928. But yeah, everyone's getting their head around it. Another big shout out to, once again, Jason at Gear Exchange Services and the boys from Speed for Sale for contributing to the MPRA pots, and also HVHM, Hunter Valley Heavy Maintenance. Will and the boys have come on board to make that happen today. And of course, all of the racers that have turned up put cash in to the pot, and they're going to be taking that pot home if they're the winner. So really cool style of racing that we've got going out here. Really dedicated bunch of racers. So great to see Alan Ossie in the Tirana and Joel Lucas in the Barra-powered XF Ute. Just made a couple of passes. Nice clean passes from Lucas in that Ute down there. Really good. Next pairing's Craig Warren in the Aeroflow lane in the V6 powered VN Commodore. It's got the Buick 3.8 in there. I hope it's still the Buick 3.8. Better not be an Ecotec. How dare he? And Daniel Taylor in that really clean HJ GDS Holden with a big block on board. It's got a bit of the gangster lean on it as it heads on down the track, but pretty clean pass. Ashley Vincent, the VE Commodore, another full brake competitor, and also Stephen Bryce in the XB Falcon. Next one down there. A couple of people have mentioned that on the stream the commentary is hard to hear, but I'm not exactly sure if that's on their device or if that's on our end, because most of the others are saying that it's okay. But we'll check that out. Couple of passes from Vincent Bryce on that pass. Joe Selby with a solid burnout down there in the XY Falcon. I hope he brought a spare set of tyres. And Andy Box in the HQ Ute in the Rocket Lane. Again, more full brake competitors. I can't even see the tree because the smoke is too thick from Joe's burnout. But it seems to have worked because he got away pretty cleanly on that one. When in doubt, burn out. Jake Muller in his Commodore, nicknamed the Predator. And Melanie Lucas back again in the big ZB Fairlane, 1969. It's got its own postcode, that Fairlane. It's a huge car. Mr. Green, Miller was on it first. Lucas, same deal with that Fairlane, just super rich. On the gas as it makes a pass. This is my dark horse car down here, the Toyota Cressida in the foot brake class. These cars used to solely populate bowls clubs and men's sheds in the 80s. The Cressida was basically when you retired and you weren't a Holden or a Ford man, that's what you got, a Cressida. But then a whole bunch of younger people bought them and stuffed 2Js in them and went really fast. So that's why we like them. Cheryl Ogden in the VE Commodore in the airflow lane. Joseph Freer. It's gone in a little deep there, but nonetheless, comes away cleanly. The Cressida will show the Commodore the way home. Back out of the lanes, Cooper Bennett in the VS Ute, Ian Austin in the LJ. Entered a couple of sort of wild passes, I think. Let's just double check here. bullpit wagon back out in the Rocket Lane. Kevin Price Engines. Plenty of cars here today with their sticker on board. Doing the Lord's work, screwing together horsepower. You've got Liz Close in the airflow lane. Red light for Kevin Price. A little early there. Stu Howe back out in the family Ford territory with a monster skid. Those international viewers are not familiar with it. It was a locally produced sort of SUV Ford territory. They were everywhere. It was the most popular car when they were in production. Traditionally 4-litre Barra engine in there. Just the SUV version of a Falcon, really. But Stu Howe's out there having a run because why not? And Ethan Hurst is in the aeroflow lane in the Commodore. Looks like Ethan did get there first, unfortunately, even though a huge deficit on the reaction time. So we are trying to figure out the audio situation on the live stream, guys. I know some guys are saying that it's no good, but other guys are saying it's fine. I don't know. Maybe if it's no good for you, that's a bonus because you don't have to listen to me. But nonetheless, we're going to continue to look into it. Warwick Gook down here in the Trackhawk. I apologise, Warwick, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. It is a little bit of a tricky one. Dale Ludlow gets away in the Tirana. That 434 cubic inch Chevy is singing. Got Joe back out here in the Viva. Campagna. It's a loose unit, this little Viva. That Holden 6-cylinder power on board. There's not a lot of wheelbase and even less track, of course. On the single pass down here, nitrous assisted being Commodore. A keen run, and we'll jump across into some motorcycle competitors. Michael Richards on the Suzuki Hayabusa in the aeroflow lane. We got Lucas Nago in the Rocket lane on board a Suzuki GSXR. Clean launch for both bikes. See Albie Davidson down there in the Rocket lane. He does have something stuck on the side of his rear tyre down there, so don't know if the crew, Team Digger guys are listening, but there's some blue sort of strip on it, gum or string or something on the tyre down there. Doesn't seem to be affecting too much. But Adrian Watson away on the R6 pretty handily. Travis McCleverty and Gareth Wilcox back up in the burnout box. Sun is shining here at Sydney Dragway. It's a beautiful day, but it is going to get warm. So if you're here at the track, make sure you stay hydrated. You can go and see the fine volunteer folks from the Rotary that are down there in the pits. They've got the barbecue on, they've got the cold drinks on ice. Something to eat and stay hydrated from them. Adams in the rocket lane on the Destroyer, and Mark Ackers back out here on the GPZ 1100. Super cool bike back in the day. Well, still a super cool bike, but yeah, very popular when they came out. Into gear in the burnout, but seems like he's got it underway. Bit of wheel spin from Ron Adams there, right outside the groove. Reasonably decent pass. Sean Hallard back out on the V-Rod, Screaming Eagle. We got Sean Close again on the 750cc Suzuki. Just waiting for Ron Adams to make his way down there. Looks like he's moving fairly slowly. That bike might have come to a stop in the deep end of the track, so we'll just get the recovery crew out there to get him back home. Lucky enough for Ron, it's not too difficult to walk that bike further down, but crew at Sydney Dragway will give him a helping hand to get on down. Perfect day for a bit of exercise, pushing a bike in the hot sun down there. So everyone watching along on the stream, you can see obviously we've got some bikes running through doing some testing. qualifying at the moment, but we do have a couple of cool cars in the staging lanes from what I can see. You can see Simon Krieger's ute down there. Innocent Motorsports nitrous big block is in the lanes for another test hit. I think I can see, I think that might be Paul Spatino's Tirana. Again, big block nitrous car. There's a Tidy Capri out there, and also the Anglia is back around for another pass. Not exactly sure what happened to Cheryl down there in the rocket lane on the V-Rod, but it certainly got going once it got going. Looks to be Joe Curry once again. It's been really interesting actually to see how the bikes have been getting down. There's not too much traction issues for the bikes, considering they're on such a small tyre. There's no prep. Yeah, I mean, there has been a little bit of wheel spin, of course, out there, but nowhere near as much as what I had assumed would be the case. Okay, Michael Little back out in the Tirana. It's in the 6.0 class today, I believe. Straight pass for Little there. They should get some good data off that one. If Michael's running in the 6.0 class, then everyone else should be worried considering the time that just came out. Okay, Joe Selby with another stout burnout from the Falcon, making it hard for us to see him down there. It obviously worked for him last time, so let's stick with that recipe. Plenty of traction on the way down there for the big Falcon. Okay, Brett Niff back out in the Valiant. Also Melanie Lucas in the fair lane. Wheels up from Brett Niff, if we've come to see, but really nice 60 foot. Another consistent pass from Lucas in the rocket lane. Joel Lucas is in the rocket lane in the XF Ute, Barra Turbo power on board. And T1 with LS-powered Calais in the aeroflow lane. Joel Lucas really getting around the traction and power requirements for that ute there. Should be a good competitor. Krieger with the Pro Mod style burnout in the aeroflow lane. He's had a couple of hits already this morning, but should be good. Just see Michael Richards giving us the update for Albie Davidson down with Team Digger. He spilled a blue paint pen on his tyre. So, fair enough. Well, you know, I mean, Albie said he wasn't racing so much this year, so, you know, maybe he's a little bit rusty with bits and pieces. Last time he was here, he was cooking lunch for everyone. I don't want to tell him he should go back to doing that, but, you know. Not spilling paint on your pen, Albie. All right, Paul Spatino in the rocket lane, LJ Tirana, Simon Krieger in the aeroflow lane, HQU. Pretty clean from Krieger. You can tell he had a bit of timing out of it early on there, and then started to lay it in, give it a bit of spray. But Spatino, not bad either. Good deal. Adrian Morton back out here in this Mustang. 451 cubic inches with a bit of nitrous on top, because why not sprinkle a bit of Rexona on top. There was a lot of skating going on in his last pass in the aeroflow lane. Looks like his crew heads up for the guys. Crew have waved him off for some reason. Good spotting from the crew guys. All right, Mark in and Debbie Robb back up in the burnout box. So Debbie Robb in the big XB Falcon coupe. Getting a little bit of attitude on it with the burnout there. Markins Anglia. This Anglia is so narrow, I can't believe how straight it runs. It's a great little car, super cool. Commentator's curse on it because it took a huge step to the left when he hit the gas on that one. Debbie Robb leaving a bit early, but if we can get the launch dialed in, the reaction time for Debbie, that car's working pretty well. T-Bucket back up in the rocket lane. Back out again, which had I think the last pass that tried to make that call off might have had a bit of a leak or something happening, so good to see the car back out again and ready to go. idling happening there, I think. Okay, Robert Gallotta back here in Capri. Gets a decent hit off the line this time, which is good to see. Bit of a steer job on the way through 330, but I think Rob's used to run the quarter mile like a lot of people would be, because he was into it for quite a while after the stripe down there at the 8th mile. Okay, Eden Abella back out in the Holden Ute. Unmistakable sound of a turbocharged LS. Eden's always here at the track championships. It's running in super sedan. Ooh, a lot of juice on board for that launch. Tried to chase it, but it's all right. That's data. That's basically what you can take from that, is 100% data. If I'm not mistaken, I think Stu's territory is actually a diesel. Makes it even more street car. Why not? Territory there. Should be Lippy here in the Tana. The guys from Khalidi Clothing on board, by the looks of things on the side of the car. Yeah, Lippy Downer is going to get brought into staging lanes. This will be the last car that we send down the track before we stop for lunch. So we'll have probably about 40 minutes or so for a lunch break, and then we'll be back with more. Definitely a bit dull down there for Lippy Downer in the Tana, but came away cleanly. So all good. All right, folks, we are going to go to our scheduled lunch break. We've got competition racing back from 1 p.m., scheduled for 1 p.m. You can find us here on Sydney Dragway live stream on YouTube, Facebook, as well as the 2200 DRA and MPRA races. We're going to bring you all the action this afternoon, so we'll see you back here soon with Sydney Dragway.
Rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
street car through to a race car, be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and allo kart driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent. It's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge.
The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface. Turning the torque arm on the top of the device will rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
Putting a street car through to a race car? Be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw kart driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent, it's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's all... This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute for us racers to go straight and fast. In drag racing, every millisecond counts. That's why the teams adjust the car's setup to suit the track conditions. Teams can assess the traction on the track by using this interesting device called a traction meter gauge. The bottom of the device has a rubber pad that mimics a racing slick. To measure the track's grip value, the user stands on the base, ensuring the rubber pad bonds with the racing surface. Turning the torque arm on the top of the device will rotate the rubber pad. When the bond breaks, the user will see a number on the dial. Teams can then use this number to help create baselines for grip within their respective setup.
building a street car through to a race car, be sure to think of Aeroflow Performance. The ever-increasing range that started with just hose, fittings and fuel system components has grown to include boosted turbochargers, bang shift shifters, X-Pro ignition and electrical accessories, Bosch motorsport products, fabrication parts, as well as driveline and engine components. With an exceptional distribution network and inventory, Aeroflow products are always within reach. With more to come in the future, be sure to keep an eye out at aeroflowperformance.com.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. How would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Bank said no to your home loan? Talk to us.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
I have this incredible drive to succeed. I've just got this ambition, I want to get on the podium. I think there's a lot of people that have an older mentality and don't think women belong in motorsport. And that's one thing I'd like to prove a lot of people wrong. It's you in the car and it's your ambition and your drive to win. As soon as that helmet goes on, that's it. I'm Brooke Newson. I'm a sprint car and outlaw car driver.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now. I just have a really personal trust with VP racing fuels.
Running on the ragged edge of blowing up and not, a lot of it has to do with the race fuel, and that's what we rely on, VP racing fuels.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent. It's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
Drag racing is not just about the horsepower. There is also some cool science at play right here on the racetrack. These drag strips aren't just regular concrete. We treat it with a special kind of glue often referred to as traction compound. I usually twist my foot and it's all... This is designed to ramp up the traction of the track's surface. It's getting worse by the minute.